Hey guys, it's me again. And today I wanted to talk about my favorite circus, my favorite clown show, one of which that I'm very often a part of. I'd like to talk to you guys about Twitch. I'd like to talk about some of the changes, some of the things that have come out, some of the statements that they have made recently, and I'd like to discuss them because it's been a few weeks now since all of these things have happened, and I've been holding this inside of myself, and even though I will be coming back to streaming on my main channel tomorrow, I just have to get it out today because I am probably going to complain about it tomorrow too, so I might as well kind of get the script out right now. So, gentlemen, this past whole year, let's be honest, has been a shit show for the website. Let's be real. It has been. You've had the DMCA stuff, you've had these random bans, you've had all kinds of other bad stuff happen. There's been a million different problems that have happened for Twitch, and at the end of the day, it's not made them look good. And with you see YouTube streaming has been getting more and more popular this year, especially with Among Us. I think it's not really it's pretty safe to assume that Twitch is a little bit worried. Twitch is concerned because you see these people who are moving over to the platform and maintaining viewership and sometimes even growing in certain circumstances, and the incentive to be on Twitch becomes smaller. So I'd like to talk about some of the things that Twitch has been doing and talk about why I think that they've been mistakes and what's been going on in the community too, because I think the community's been a little bit silly with some stuff as well. So the first thing that I want to talk about, I want to get the big one out of the way right now, is going to be the Twitch comes out, and this is basically, I want to preface this all with a little TLDR here, is that I think fundamentally the problem at Twitch is communication. Communication is by far the biggest issue. It's not even implementation. Obviously, like, there are stupid bans, we're going to talk about that, but it is primarily communication, because the communication happens and there's all the times there's these different types of completely contradicting things. I mean, you have the CEO goes out and he says that context matters, and then somebody does something that they don't mean to and they get banned for it. How the fuck can both of these two things exist? Well, of course there's more nuance to it, but whenever you go out and make statements like that, of course you're going to attract a lot of people that are upset because they're just going to look at it at face value. That's why you don't make statements like that. It was a mistake to say that, especially if they're not going to live up to it. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the simp and incel thing. Now, Twitch created a new town hall, and this is usually what they like to do, is they like to do these town halls and then reiterate all of the rules that they've already had as to make people think that they give a shit about harassment, which usually I think they try to, but the reality is that there are just so many people on the platform, it's almost impossible for them to really deal with it in any sort of a real way. They've taken a lot of really good steps, I'd say too, with, like, for example, whenever somebody gets banned from a channel, they can't see the chat. I think that's a good solution, especially with it being a soft IP ban on that chat as well. Not really sure exactly how that works, but basically if you make a second account, you're still banned. Overall, I think that these are good changes, but one of the problems that they have is that they don't allow for any context or nuance. And what I found to be extremely interesting with what Twitch said in a recent town hall is the fact that sometimes they're not even going to consider context at all, context or intent at all. Now, I don't know if this is a saying or what, but I'm pretty sure that I've heard this many times, that intent is 9/10 of the law. How can you have something that is like a core foundational element in which you, decide justice and just say, you know what, fuck it, let's just forget about it? It sounds ridiculous just purely at face value. And I think that really it's kind of one of those cases where, you read the TOS of something and they say down at the very bottom, after, like, oh, you get banned if you do this, you get banned if you do that, you get banned if you do this. At the very bottom they say, we can ban you for whatever the fuck we want, right? That way they can just be completely indemnified of any sort of criticism. And I think this is what Twitch is doing with that as well. And this is part of their solution, which is probably the worst kind of solution, to whenever somebody gets banned, this is really what the problem is. So let's say an individual gets banned on the platform, like Forzen got banned recently for showing a girl sucking a horse's dick. Now, honestly, I don't know if this makes me a degenerate or what, but I never thought this was that big of a deal, but other people do. Regardless, he took a month ban for that shit. Then some other girl goes and shows her fucking asshole, literally, and she gets a 3-day ban. How the fuck does that work? And if Twitch would just come out and explain, because there is some some context to this, right? Forza's been banned multiple times. On top of that, bestiality is illegal. I mean, like, these are important factors that you have to take into consideration. And Twitch does not come out with a statement for this at all. And I want to contrast the way that Twitch has handled this situation with the way that they handled this situation with XQC getting banned for stream sniping in Fall Guys, okay? Which, by the way, was fucking stupid to begin with. But anyway, this happened. XQC does the stream snipe thing. People are like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Twitch comes out with a statement. They say exactly, this is what happened, this is the ruling on it, and this is why the ruling is the way that it is. And that, I think almost everybody was like, okay. And I think that ultimately, as I said before, about the main focus of Twitch needing to be communication, just fucking say it. Just say what's wrong. Whenever the entire community gets an idea in their head, especially when it's fucking wrong and it makes you look bad, what favors are you doing to yourself whenever you don't make any comments on it and let some random Redditor create a narrative that's not even true? Does that make any sense to you? I don't think so. And this has been their company policy for years. So this is the exact same thing that happened with the simp and incel and virgin thing. So somebody asked in the Twitch town hall meeting, or they used these three terms, simp, incel, and virgin, and said that you could get banned by using these terms. Now, any reasonable person could see that there's clearly more to it than this, but the internet, of course, didn't. So people went apeshit with it, and to a certain degree, for who is going to jail? Like, has it been sirens my whole video? Somebody's going to jail tonight. Anyway, so basically, you have these people who are talking about how these words are really bad, and how, you know, these are the bad things, and then they're saying that, well, you can't use these because they're harassing somebody, and it's clearly contextual. Like, if you call your friend a virgin or a simp just because, like, what, he does something nice for, like, a female NPC in Witcher 3, you're not going to catch a ban for that. Like, it's just not going to happen. But if you consistently call somebody anything, it doesn't matter what it is. And I've used this example before. And I said, if there's a girl, and let's not mince words here, okay? Let's say she's fat, okay? There's a fat girl, and she's streaming. And every single time that I talk about her, I refer to her as a big, beautiful girl. Well, you know what? I don't think Twitch is going to like that. Well, what's wrong with calling somebody big, beautiful girl? That's a nice thing. Not if they don't like it. And if the person says, you know what, I don't like being called that, that's weird, and I still do it, then I'm the asshole. Now, the first time I say it, I would argue probably I'm still a dickhead, but you're like several metric fucking shit tons more of a dickhead if you're doing it after they tell you to stop. And I think this is obviously, this is evident to anybody with any degree of social skills, which is why nobody on the internet understood it. So Twitch had to go back and they had to explain that no, there actually is some context to this, and you know, this kind of thing happens, and sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. It depends. Basically, it depends. And I think this is really what the nature of all of this is. Everybody wants to have Twitch give you like exclusive and explicit guidelines that, you know, they just define everything and you never have to worry about it. You just follow the guidelines and that's it. But let's be honest. Where's the clause about sucking a horse's dick? Where are they going to put that in there? There are just so many things that can come into play that it is impossible for them to be able to cover and talk about everything. So to a certain degree, I think that keeping the rules generalized and then making individual distinctions on individual cases and then commenting on those individual cases, whether there's a community uproar about it or there's a question as to whether something was fair or not, if Twitch comes out and they say, this is why we made the decision, I think that historically that's worked very well. And I think fundamentally Twitch's policy with dealing with these issues is wrong. And it's not working. It's clearly not working. And I think that we can go even farther with this in terms of the PR angle. So let me ask you guys a question. How does this look for PR? Okay, we're banning simp, incel, and virgin. Oh yeah, 2 days later, oh yeah, the N-word too. Yeah, the N-word too. How how does that sound? It just doesn't sound good. Like it doesn't, like, of course, yeah, it's fine if you want to deal with it in that perspective, but it just doesn't sound good. Why do you do things, like, why do you have to make a statement that you're blacklisting the N-word right after you started making a statement before then, giving people the impression that calling people a simp or a virgin is of a higher priority than calling them the N-word? How does this make any sense? And I think that a reasonable person can see that, like, these are two different things. But again, whenever you're dealing with PR, whenever you're talking about dealing with a massive audience of people, and it's like, here's an example, okay? This is like Twitch dealing with their audience. Twitch dealing with their audience is like trying to get out of a redneck bar at 2 in the morning. And you're walking down and you're trying to leave, and a guy turns around and he grabs your arm. He says, "What the hell are you looking at?" And I say, "Nothing." He says, "Well, you were looking at me. You saying I'm nothing?" I'm like, "No, I didn't say you're nothing." He's like, "Well, then what were you looking at?" I said, "I was looking down there." He's like, "No, you're looking at me." And then he says, "You know what? You calling me a liar?" Sometimes people are just looking for a problem. Sometimes they're looking for a fight. And it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't. "Oh, I wasn't looking at you. I was looking nowhere. Am I nowhere? What, you calling me a liar?" This is just somebody's looking for a fucking fight. So Twitch needs to understand this and be proactive. And sometimes that means leaving the bar early. Sometimes that means ignoring the guy and not saying anything. Whatever it is, it means something different than what they're doing. Because what they're doing right now is, it's basically they're fighting in quicksand. They are continuously trying to put out fires and fully fully explain their rules in a way that's impossible for them to really do, because there are just there's infinitely many cases that can occur, and realistically you can only cover maybe a few hundred of them. And so I think that because Twitch is a publicly facing company, and because the perception of the website is so important, and because also the people that effectively work for the website also have their own public personas to maintain as well, it would be better for Twitch if they were a lot more, if they kept things closer to the vest in terms of actually determining like all of these like really specific rules and words, etc. Because simp, incel, and virgin are no worse words than a million other things you can call people that weren't even on that list. So the problem is, whenever you create words like that, you are elevating these words to be worse than other words, and everybody's going to be right whenever they call out and they say how stupid that is. And we had other cases too. I want to talk about a few more of these and kind of get into it a little bit more. There was like one case where this lady left her kid. She had to like go get something, and then she left her kid. The kid was interacting with the webcam, and then Twitch banned her for that. Then on top of that, there was another time where there was this one girl, this Korean girl, that would bounce her boobs up and down. Right? I've seen the stream a few times, and Twitch banned her. And they would unban her and ban her, and this went back and forth like 5 or 6 times. And it's not like she's doing anything explicitly against the TOS, unless you want to count it as sexual content. And if it's counted as sexual content, why the fuck don't they just tell her, "Listen, quit bouncing your titties around, you're going to get banned again if you do it"? Because if they had just told her that, and she did it again, they could have made a statement, and it would have been fine. But they don't want to do that. And it's very clearly that there's breakdown in communication at Twitch. That's what it comes down to. There's a breakdown in communication at Twitch, and the people that are running their public communications do not fully understand the goals of the moderation team. And on top of not fully understanding the goals of the moderation team, they do not properly have the tools in order to vet and expect responses from the public. It's basically like, usually if you're playing a game, you're playing like Smash Brothers, for example, if you do X, you're expecting them to do Y. Or you do A, you're expecting them to do B. You basically have to predict what somebody is going to do whenever you're playing a game, because if you don't, then you're just kind of playing, you're going to lose, basically. You have to have some degree of like reading and predicting what people are going to say after you say something. And I feel like Twitch hasn't really put any effort into that at all. And there's a number of other cases as well that have happened recently. And I think another one is with Barry. You guys know Barry's a friend of mine. He got banned because this is another example. And I actually want to, this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to wrap this up and kind of explain why I think it's happening. Barry, so these two girls, very nice girls. I met both of them in real life, very nice ladies. Well, you know the ASMR things? Well, the ASMR things, it's kind of like this, right? Let's just assume that it's like this. Not sponsored, by the way. But call me if you want. Just let me know. Anyway, so you know, like the little ears, the ASMR microphones. Well, both of the girls, one was on this side, the other one was on the other side, and they were going like this, and they were making the little noises. You know what I mean? And you know, these are the noises that girls make whenever they're doing ASMR, and you know, it helps people sleep or do something else. And Barry just took the picture, a video of them doing that, and he put it on his crotch. Okay. I thought it was funny. And you know who else thought it was funny? The two girls in the video. They thought that shit was funny too. Because he's friends with them. He's hung out with them. We all live in Austin here. He knows them. He knows they're okay with that. Does Twitch know that? No, they fucking don't. So you know what they do? They issue my boy Barry a perma-fucking-ban. A perma-ban. And yeah, Barry, listen, I want to say one thing. Barry used to be a piece of shit back in the day, but he's not anymore. So if you really think that he's that much of a bad guy, why even unban him in the first place? Doesn't make any sense. So anyway, it's like if you're going to give somebody a second chance, give them a chance. Don't just give them this thing where they have to walk on pins and needles, and you know, the moment that they do any little tiny mistake, they're just immediately banned. Fuck that. It's so stressful for everybody. It's more work. If you want to give somebody a second chance, give them a real second chance. Anyway, especially if it was shit that happened like 2014. It was like over 5 years ago. Regardless, he got a ban for that. And so because they said it was sexual content. Here's the way I look at it. I think that I don't care. That's really the truth. I don't like seeing, unless somebody has malicious intent, or they're trying to harm somebody, or they're trying to basically make content at another person's expense, at a way that that other person is uncomfortable with. I don't want to see people get banned. I don't like that. I think that the intent behind what you're doing matters a lot. And if you don't make those distinctions, you're just going to have people catch bans for stupid things. And this is coming from somebody who I've never gotten banned. Like, I got banned like once, like 4 years ago, for a day, for a joke that was like, you know, I still thought, you know, it's whatever, right? But regardless, I ever since I got partnered, I've never caught it. I've never even been suspended once. Never been suspended. And, you know, so it's not like I have to really worry about this a whole lot myself. But I see the platform and how it's changed, and I see it changing in a direction that's unhealthy. I see it changing in a place that alienates its original user base. Usually, anytime that I'm complaining about a company, I just default in my mind to Blizzard, but for once it's actually something different. So Twitch, here's what I think happened. Twitch gets acquired by Amazon. Amazon has a bunch of really, really lofty goals. And by lofty, I mean money, right? High money goals. And the way that they achieve those goals is by running pre-roll ads on live content. It completely ruins the content. That indirectly forces the streamers to run their own ads, which makes the live content worse, and then makes them have to do something that their viewers don't want to see. And there's no way to skip them like there is in YouTube. It just completely cannibalizes the content. There's nothing you can do about it unless you're watching a VOD later on. Missing those important moments just kills a live stream. And I can't really see that being good for the user. And I think these are decisions that continue to be made for Twitch that are not being made in the best interest of the end user. Now, the end user is not the streamer. The end user is the viewer. That is the person that makes Twitch money, because the streamer is just some random idiot that's on camera making noises and playing a video game. Who gives a fuck about that for Twitch? It doesn't matter who the streamer is. It matters who the viewers are, because the viewers are the ones seeing the ads. The viewers are the ones paying for subscriptions. They're the ones paying for bits. They're the ones that are actually spending money on the website. And whenever the end user experience becomes diminished, the end users diminish as well. And that is what I'm concerned about. I am concerned about Twitch alienating their original user base of people. And this is not going to be something that's happening overnight. It's not going to be like, oh, well, everything was fine until Twitch did this one thing. No, this is going to be a death by 1,000 cuts. And I see simp, I see virgin, I see incel, I see them getting rid of the N-word after they get rid of those words to a certain degree. I see them saying we're not going to get rid of context, and I'm seeing a lot of cuts. That's the reality. I'm seeing a lot of cuts. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And I think that what Twitch needs to do is they need to take a step back and reevaluate their entire strategy and their entire philosophy behind public communication. I think that their entire philosophy behind it is flawed, and it's counterproductive, and it actually backfires almost every single time that they try to use it. And they need to use a more direct and a more honest version of communication in a way that's less pandering, it's less patronizing, and it's more direct, and it's more honest. And that's what they need to do more so than anything. And I'm seeing this happen more and more. And the reason why I'm worried about it is because if Twitch dies or Twitch loses more popularity, of course I would think about going to YouTube. Of course I would think about doing other things. Why wouldn't I? I mean, I'd want people to see my content. I'd want them to have the best experience possible. And whenever I see ads being plastered all over my content without my consent, I see my content being downscaled for certain people because they're using ad blockers. I see these other kinds of things happening, and I ask myself, am I giving my viewers the best experience possible? And oftentimes, whenever I see things like this, it makes me wonder. And it's something that I don't want to have to think about, and I never used to. And I think Twitch needs to really evaluate who their real customers are, who their real community is, and take a step back and stop trying to just go for quarterly profits and invest. And I don't mean by investing money, I mean by investing goodwill, good faith, and effort. And if they want to do that with their community, they're going to see success again. Twitch is a great platform. They have a lot of good things going for them. But they can't just go and try to make as much money as possible and sanitize the website from everything that made it special and made people feel like they were at home, and then expect people to still come back and call it home. It's not going to happen. And you're already seeing a little bit of an exodus. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I care. And it's not just because I care about it in a monetary sense. It's because I care about it in terms of what I've been doing with my time for the past 4 years. I've been streaming for 4 years. For example, I make videos complaining about Twitch and Blizzard. You ever see me make a video complaining about Facebook? No, because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. The reason I'm making the video is because I care. The reason I'm making the video is because I want it to do better. And the fact is that issuing bans at random links, letting the community just fucking go wild with the reasons why they think that that's happening, it's not doing anybody any favors. And I want to end this off on just one final thing, and then we're going to move on, okay? We're going to just I'm going to end the video. Twitch made it against the TOS to say that a streamer or a female streamer in general is doing sexual favors or being privileged by Twitch. It's being privileged by Twitch for a sexual reason. Earlier this year, Twitch had an employee, Hassan, who was found guilty of doing that. Twitch did what I would assume an internal investigation, and they found that he was guilty, and he was let go from the company after a massive outcry and this story going public. A rule like that would have protected him. It would have protected a sexual predator. That's why you don't make rules like that. You don't need to. You look at the intent behind a behavior. You say, is this person being an asshole or a piece of shit? And if the answer is yes, then you deal with it that way. And if the person's saying something legitimate or bringing up an honest concern, then you look at it a different way. I don't need to see rules that would have protected a sexual predator on the website be stated on the TOS. This is not necessary. It all comes down to intent. It comes down to doing the right thing and not being an asshole. And if you do that, you're going to be pretty much okay. Most of the time. Unless you show a horse's dick on stream. then maybe not. But then you come back and everybody's sympathetic towards you, and your ban turns out to be a reward. Good system, Twitch. Really proud of you. Keep it up, guys. Anyway, they've got to completely rethink their entire philosophy. Twitch, let me know if you want any suggestions. I'm around. I think a lot of us would be. I speak for a lot of other streamers whenever I say that I think we would like to be more involved. And if not, fuck it. Who cares? Fuck us. Doesn't matter to me. Just make the website better. Give people a reason to keep coming back. We're all invested. We are just as much as you are. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I've got. I wanted to make this video because it's been something I've been sitting on for quite a while, and it's about time to say something about it. Anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, until tomorrow, whenever I probably go on stream tomorrow and rant about the exact same thing, I'll see you later. So until the next one, peace.